The last few months at Boeing have been nothing short of trying, but to get a real firm understanding on just what took place internally with regards to finances, we knew that we needed to wait for the first quarter results, and they have now arrived and they paint a bit of a bleak picture with certainly some bits of shining hope. Basically, they reported a loss for the first quarter at USD 355 million. That comes, of course, following the difficulties with the 737 MAX program. The loss spurred on by that 7379 incident in the first week of the 2024 calendar year that resulted in a door being blown out of the aircraft. And basically from there, it was nothing short of downhill, with further loose bolts being identified, whistleblowers emerging, and basically everything in between that would damage the Boeing image further. The incident really did set the trend for Boeing's first quarter, and likely year, as it'll grapple with continued challenges. Since we know Boeing has faced significant pressure from regulators, airlines, shareholders, and of course the general public over these persistent quality slips that are present and seemingly aren't being rectified. When publishing a significant loss in its Q1 financial report, Boeing said that its focus remains on safety and the quality of product, and the loss was to be expected as it slowed down almost all aspects of its business to try and get to the bottom of what's been going wrong. Ultimately, we know that the quality of the product that is being put out has been an area of concern, not just in the last 3 months, but for many, many years now, and the manufacturer is hoping to rectify this. Think about from 2020 through to 2024. Was Boeing recovering? Absolutely, and they were by no means making headlines from a general tabloid point of view. But that's not to say that there were not still persistent issues that popped up here and there, whether it was with the 787 or the MAX. What Boeing wants to do is eradicate all of this. For Boeing though, the quarter wasn't necessarily all doom and gloom. While of course it was filled with negatives, there were some above expected results. Notably, the manufacturer saw a USD 3.9 billion cash burn, which was actually down from the forecasted 4.5 billion. It is sometimes the small wins that you have to take a hold of. Boeing understands though that it's fighting to turn around its fortunes and instill confidence in multiple parties. The last 5 to 10 years haven't been optimal, and if you ask many people at Boeing, and analysts have frankly not been good enough. As like I said, there's been the persistent quality issues that just can't happen in our industry. However, the tough period extends beyond just quality issues, with the knock-on effect on Boeing's uncertified aircraft, then your airline customers, and everything in between from there. Several leading aircraft still remain uncertified, and there's not really a timeline in place for many of them, with these jets unable to enter into service because of a strict focus on trying to rebuild the company. Airline customers that were set to rely on these planes are continuously having to readjust their forecast, lease in aircraft, or cancel orders altogether. In response to the most recent quality concerns though, Boeing did lower the output of its jets. This reduction, while a decision that'll hopefully lead to improvements, does also hurt your airlines. For the most basic explanation, the aircraft that are being put out aren't at an optimal rate, and it's certainly not at the designated rate that would need to work through the backlog. Boeing wants to build themselves back up to this, but when they can is not necessarily up to them. It's going to be on the word of the Federal Aviation Administration, who have barred Boeing from increasing production because they fear, simply if there is an increase in production, this will negate all the work that's currently being done to identify just why everything seemingly keeps going wrong. Boeing, however, has remained confident in its ability to turn around its fortunes during these first quarter results. We've seen several leadership changes that are ongoing to try and change the culture. Will it be enough? Time will tell, but it certainly is not the first leadership change that we've seen take place, promising the same result that didn't eventuate. When you consider also the additional oversight from the Federal Aviation Administration, it certainly meant that Boeing's room for error has been reduced, but with all that being said, Boeing's not been able to function the way it would ideally want to. The turnaround plan will not be overnight. It'll be a lengthy plan to ensure that a long-term culture change can take place, and Boeing can hopefully return to the heights that it was once at. Despite a lot of focus on the losses experienced at Boeing, which honestly shouldn't come as a shock, the manufacturer still has one shining light across its business, that being backlog. Boeing has continued to increase its backlog of aircraft orders in the last 5 years. This means that several aircraft families are sold out for many years. With the backlog standing at well over 5,000 aircraft, it is expected to grow this year and well into the future. While some aircraft types are obviously selling well, equally the plane maker faces fierce competition from Airbus. And while many people will pitch those two competitors against each other, maybe to a certain extent, the success that Airbus are seeing in key markets and with their own operation is going to be that push Boeing needs to turn around itself and compete at a higher level. Looking ahead, Boeing will want to keep growing its backlog, but also on top of that, it's going to have to ensure that it has the processes set up to meet this demand and output. At its current rate, the output is too low to work through this backlog, and the delays are piling on, not just with one aircraft, but all the aircraft that are coming later down the line. That's going to conclude today's news. If you'd like to leave your thoughts, which I'm sure there'll be many, you can do so down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, take care, do be safe, I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry news.
And we'll fly.